huge breaking news. The Saints and the Eagles have traded with one another, so that the Saints now have 2 picks in the first round, and the Eagles have moved one of their first round picks this year to next year, so that they now have 2 first round picks this year and 2 first round picks next year. I think this is a big win for both teams. I'm going to go over the trade compensation, what it is, really quickly. The Eagles are going to receive pick 18, a 3rd round pick, pick 101, a 7th round pick, pick 237, a 1st round next year, and a 2nd round in 2024. The Saints will receive pick 16 and 19, and a 6th round pick this year, pick 194. I love this move for both teams. Let me go over that really quickly. So I think the Saints win this move because I think what this means now, I think, is that they've narrowed it down to a quarterback. I think that there's a quarterback that they really like in this draft. I think there's a guy that they've narrowed it down to. My mind immediately goes to Sam Howell and Matt Corral. Those are the 2 guys that I look at that have incredible upside, but definitely need a time to sit behind a quarterback. And then bringing back Jameis kind of gives me those vibes. Sam Howell would be my favorite just because, 2 years ago at UNC, we saw what he was able to do in an offense that has those weapons. And he brings a threat with his legs that you just can't beat. We saw that production out of him this year when he lost all of his guys in the 1st and the 2nd and the 3rd and the 4th round in last year's draft. Come to the NFL, be productive members. It kind of showed the world that Sam Howell can be a productive quarterback at the next level if you put the weapons around him. I don't think that he's a quarterback that's going to carry your franchise, but let's be fair, there's only 4 or 5 franchise carrying quarterbacks in this league, right? I look at it and I go, there's 2 types of quarterbacks. There's the quarterbacks that pull teams forward, and then there's quarterbacks that need to be pulled forward by the rosters around them. And there's very few guys that can pull a team out of whatever hole that they're in, right? So really like this for the Saints. I think that, like I said, they're maybe eyeing a quarterback at 16. And yeah, I think it's a good pick. And I think they also wanted to say, hey, there's another guy in this draft. We really like this other guy. We want to get this other guy as well as our quarterback. So I think this is a really good move for them. They gave up a lot to move up and get another pick in the first round. But when you've narrowed it down to a guy that you believe in, you got to make that jump. You got to make that leap. And I think that's what we're going to see out of the Saints. Now let's talk about this from the Eagles' perspective. I like the Eagles' move here a lot because what this does is I think that we can all kind of agree that this is a weak draft when you look at the top end talent, and having 3 picks in this year's first round isn't going to be as beneficial as let's say punting one of those picks to next year. And the fact that you've added a 3rd round pick, a 2nd round pick in future years, I think that that's a big deal and gives you a lot of resources. I think what we can expect is do they take a wide receiver and a linebacker now? They're still picking in front of the Eagles. The Saints at both picks, because now they have picks 15 and 18, and the Saints now go 16 and 19. So you still get to pick in front of the Saints, which is, I think, a good move for them. But I think what this move is why they made this trade is because they know that this is the last year for them to evaluate Jalen Hurts. And so what's going to happen is they're going to take this year to surround him with some talent, 2 first-round pick talents in this draft, and they have all of this extra draft capital. They're going to fill this team with a lot of talent in an NFC East that's relatively weak, and we're going to see, and they're going to try to evaluate and see, what do we have with our guy? And if they don't like what they see, they can very easily next year with 2 first-round picks move up and go get their guy. Gives them a lot of flexibility, and I really, really like that, and gives them a lot of options moving forward versus having one draft where they're totally bought in. We have to spend all of this capital in this draft. So let me know what you guys think of this trade. My computer's right there, the setup's right there. I just couldn't turn it on because we're actually headed to a Leafs game. And And I wanted to make this video before we headed out and took the drive out to Tampa. So let me know what you guys think. I really like this trade for both teams. I think this shakes up the whole draft. I think now we're going to see a possibility of, before we saw a possibility of maybe only 1 or 2 quarterbacks in the first round. I think this pushes us into that 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the first round. I think we're guaranteed going to have 2 quarterbacks in the top 10. And I think we're going to have 2 quarterbacks in that middle picks. And I think the Saints have now become a team that definitely are going to take a quarterback. My bet, like I said, is on Sam Howell. I really like Sam Howell to the Saints. They've got a lot of tools that kind of remind me of what UNC was running. And they can do a lot of RPO stuff. You got Alvin Kamara in the backfield. You got Michael Thomas he's Michael Thomas, And if you add like a wide receiver to that piece, or if you, something along those lines, you could have a really deadly offense in New Orleans there with Sam Howell at the helm in a year's time from now. Because I do think he needs to sit and learn a little bit. But like I said, let me know what you guys think. And last but not least, go Jets. I was going to try to show you guys the sign, but my closet's a mess, so I'm not going to do that. Bye, guys.